All right, good morning, everyone, right there, wherever you are. This is yusufchowdhury, digital marketing consultant here in San Antonio, Texas. So we're gonna do a workshop on WordPress 101, and after every session, I'm gonna pause and come back. So make sure you follow through. And if you have any questions, leave the questions on the comment below. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so you got the note in front of you. So by show of hands, can you please raise your hand for those who just starting fresh, brand new with the domain web hosting? 1, 2, 3, 4, excellent. So I'm assuming you already have the domain and you already have the hosting and you already installed WordPress, or no? You're not sure? Okay, no problem. We'll definitely go there. No problem. So here we go. If you want to connect with me in any of the social channels, you can look up, for my name in Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Periscope, and this is my cell phone number. So because I'll trust you all, feel free to call me 24/7, right? Okay. You can go ahead and text me, and that's my personal account, personal website. So this will work. All right. So before we build the website, there are a few things you have to, and you want to write this thing down. There are a few things you have to consider. A lot of businesses, what they do, this is from my experience, when it comes to a website, most of them don't have an idea how to start a website, so they hire big agencies or freelancers or whatnot. And a lot of information that they give out, they still have no clue why they're getting the website in the first place. And I'm sure some of you probably did the same thing. So these are the following questions that you have to think about at first. For instance, before you even decide to buy a domain name, okay? Before you decide to do that, you have to answer these questions, like 100%. You have to be 100% sure what does it mean. Okay, so the first question is, you need to identify your market. Does that make sense? You need to identify who's your customer. So if I'm a math teacher, right? If I'm a math teacher and I want to start a website for, let's say, math tutoring or math tutorial or teaching somebody math, I have to specify who is my target market. Are they kindergarten? Are they high school kids? Are they middle school kids? Are they college students? Are they for parents? Can somebody tell me why that matters? Why is it so important that I need to know my customer?
Because they're not tuned in. They don't care. They're not going to listen to your radio station. You don't talk about what they want to hear.
That's one. And what else?
You have to know how they're going to approach the site.
You also have to know how they're going to approach your site. So if I have a cupcake store, right? I'm not gonna put a picture of Hawaii or a beach or a bunch of Harley Davidson motorbikers, because there's no relationship between the cupcake shop and my audience, right? And number two, the language that you're going to speak, the language that you're going to put on the website is for who?
Yes.
Your customers, right? So you're going to speak their language. You're talking to them. So let's assume my target market is high school kids, right? That means the image that I'm going to have, right, is going to have a picture of high school kids, correct? It's going to have a picture of come on in, good morning. Are you with the WordPress?
Yes.
Yes, come on in please. Let me grab another chair real quick. Sorry. Come on in.
Ramon is at the detail.
Yes, me too.
That's not okay. Did anybody not get a handout yet? Okay. David?
I saw 18 people RSVP'd. I thought for sure half would show up. This got almost 18. Oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's a great idea. I didn't even think of it.
I've been outside.
Nice. I don't know, maybe after lunch, if I can move everything on the inside, I'll see. Okay. So the question was, you have to understand your target market. It's very, very important. Because based on knowing who is your customer, then you get the ideas on how to put the website and what kind of content you're going to write. Or you can hire a content writer that specifically talks to that audience. Does that make sense? So you need to write down, who is my customer? Yes, sir. Are you for the WordPress?
Yes.
Yes. Let me grab another chair.
You got another lady coming also if you want to grab another chair.
Okay, I'll do that.
You know what? Let's just leave these down there because they keep coming in down there.
Put these in the center. Actually, it is a little hard to find 12 of those things. I drove around there.
If can somebody help me whenever he comes in? Somebody please help me to get the chair from the other room. Okay. All right. Can someone take a picture? Okay. All right. So any question about knowing your customer? And how do you research? How do you find out who's your customer? What would you do?
Talk to them.
Ask questions.
Ask questions.
Ask question. You know your customer, right? You know their problems, right? Yes. Research, right? Okay. So that's the first thing. Know who's your target market. Because if you can't answer this question, then there's no point for you to buy a domain or hosting or make a website. Then you're wasting your time. You need to know that. Secondly, again, very popular. Most businesses don't know that. What do you want the visitor to do? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to get into a list? Do you want them to buy from you? You have to know that, right? Because if I know my objective of the website is to get more leads, is to have the visitor call me, or to have them read some information, you need to define that. Does that make sense? So you can write it down. You know what? I want customer to call me, or to get into the list. Does that make sense? Very, very important. Then number 3, how many pages do you want to create, and why? Does that make sense? So by default, we already know that the home page is the most popular page that everyone lands into, right? What's the second highest visited page? Does anybody know?
About.
About. Can somebody tell me why about is the second highest visited page?
They want to know about you.
Because they want to know about you. They want to know how you are, what kind of business you're in, and what kind of service you provide, how long you've been in business. They want to know you, right? Come in, please. Yes. Yes, WordPress. Let's see. Were you lost or something? I'm sorry, I can't remember get lost here.
Yes, I was very lost.
There we go.
The website, the Google Maps is completely wrong.
You want to have it? Yeah, that's what I did. I actually emailed in the middle of the image.
Oh, you did.
You know, and I put it on my Facebook everywhere.
Yes, you did.
The dentistry office works the link works really well.
Right?
Change it to that link and that'll work out.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. But at least you know right now, which means because next week, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to have all the classes in the evening right here, like Google AdWords, Facebook advertising, and WordPress. So number 3, how many pages do you need and why? We talked about home because everyone lands on home. About because they need to know about who you are. Does that make sense? Then you can add services if you have services, product if you have products, maybe testimonial, contact because you want them to contact you, right? But there is one page that, again, small businesses don't put. Does anybody know what is that page? Thank you. Blog. And why blog is important? For 2 reasons. Search engine, that means the Google search engine, the Bing search engine, the Yahoo search engine. What happens if you have a website that doesn't have a constant, dynamic, updated content that takes place every time, you are considered a dead website. So what happened on the software, the spider, the crawler, the application, whatever you call it, it travels the internet to index trillions of pages, right? If you don't do any activity, it's not going to find you. Does that make sense? If it finds you once, and you're done. But if you're constantly putting something, there's a signal, tells the search engine there's a signal, something is happening. Does that make sense? So that's number one. Number two, which is the most important actually before the search engine, and that is your audience. That means your audience, is someone else to get in? Your audience, probably is lost. Gotta go capture him. So your audience, when you educate them, right? When you educate them about your product, you give them how-to blog posts, case studies, and whatnot, you build an authority. Does that make sense? You become the expert in your area. And when you become the expert in the area, what does that do to you?
Make your money. Builds up your domain authority.
It does, of course, it make money. Thank you. It builds your authority. It builds trust. You want people to trust you on the internet, you provide value. Does that make sense? You provide information. Not just any kind of information. Something like when they read, like, oh, wow, this is awesome. I'm going to share this sucker. Right? It's so good. Okay? It has to be amazing. Not just like, like 3 points and like one paragraph. That's not a content. You got to put something like really, really good. So that's why it helps your customer to trust you, to learn from you, and you can become an expert without you telling them that you're an expert. Isn't that amazing? So that's why blog matters. And it doesn't matter what niche you got a blog. I don't care. Plumber, blog. Okay? How do you hire somebody with no butt cracks? Okay?
When you say updated regularly, how often do you?
That is a beautiful question. Again, this is not a blueprint. My recommendation, because most of the business are busy, my recommendation is minimum once a week. That's my recommendation. If you do more, of course, that means the search engine will notice it more people are going to probably find it easily. Does that make sense? But because you're busy, I want to be very practical and realistic. I would say minimum once a week. Now, do you have to write every week? You don't have to. You can spend one day in the weekend, in a month, write 4 blog posts, and you schedule all of them, and it's going to go out every month. That way you don't have to worry about, how do you sit down and write it down again, okay? Or you can outsource to like these companies that have writers, like writeraccess.com, write this thing down, writeraccess.com. So if you want to hire somebody to write for you, you can try that, writeraccess.com, okay? Any questions so far? Are we still good? Yes?
Okay, on the discussion about the about page,
Uh-huh.
is it true that the search engine will depreciate and push down your site if you don't have an about page?
I don't think so. I don't think it will depreciate your site because that's a beautiful question. And the reason it won't depreciate your site because there are more than 200 to 1,000 factors to rank your site. Does that make sense? But I would highly recommend you should have an about page regardless anyway because you don't want the visitor to get confused. You don't want the visitor to come to your site and they don't know who is this website, what's going on here. They might even trust you. Does that make sense? But I don't think you will get depreciated from my understanding if you don't have an about page. But it's best to have it. Why? Because if those visitors come to your site and there's no about page, there's a chance they can leave. Right? There's a chance they can leave your website and they're going to come back to it because they don't know who you are. And from that perspective, yes, then maybe no one's going to come to your website. Does that make sense? All right. Create a sitemap. After you identify who's your target market, after you identify what you want them to do, how many pages do you need, then you can just kind of, on your piece of paper or a board, you do a sitemap. Like this is the home, then you have the service page. Under the service, I have 5 sub-pages. That's what the sitemap is, just for you to kind of organize it, right? But when you build the website, Google highly recommends that you should submit a sitemap. And we'll talk about that later during the day when we talk about Google Webmaster Tool and the Google Analytics. We're going to show you how to set that up. Okay? Any more questions? Are we all good? Nobody lost their hair? All right. Let's move forward. Now, so before we start with the basic, now when you install WordPress, there are 5 ways of installing WordPress. 5 ways. Right? I'm not going to talk about the 4th. Okay? As a businessman myself, I'm looking for the easiest, most quickest, most fastest way to do things. Because time is money. Okay? I have my own company. We have our own staff and teams and whatnot. But when I teach startups and one-on-one businesses, I want to show them something that they can do by themselves. Does that make sense? In case someone is starting. So, but of course, you need to have a domain name. You need to have a web hosting service and a website platform. To build a website, there are so many applications out there. There is CMS, Expression Edge, Joomla, Drupal, Java, all the crazy stuff. But we picked WordPress for so many reasons. Okay, so we're going to use that WordPress application. Now, we all know what is a domain name, right? I shouldn't go further. You good? You know what is a domain name? Okay, but here's a few things though. When it comes to the domain name, you know how back like 5-6 years ago, you will notice that some businesses have they have a company name, but the domain is different. How did you feel when you saw that? Like, what was your feeling? This is a crazy ninja dentist, but their website is called San Antonio Dentistry. How did you feel when you saw that? Was it like something a little bit bothering? Was it like,
No.
is this the actual person? Is this the actual business? Is it a different landing page? People used to do that for so-called SEO, which doesn't work anymore. You know, you don't want to have a keyword-based domain to want to trick the system. Those days are gone. So if you have a business name, make sure your domain address is the business name. You know why? So your customer will know who you are quickly. When they search, oh, that's a company, that's a clinic, that's a yoga studio. But if you have a different name, it might cause a little bit of friction. It might cause a little bit of, is this the real actual customer? Or is this the business owner? Or maybe somebody else is copying? Does that make sense? So I recommend that if you have a business name, get a domain name on your business name. If you are going to build your personal brand, then use your name. Make sure it's short. You don't want to have a domain name that says, you know, the best dentist on the corner of Leon Valley on the 2nd Street.com. Nobody will remember that. Okay, it's too long. Keep it very short. There was a practice for, you know, the Spurs players in the UTSA and whatnot. I forgot the name. I think it's San Antonio, I don't know, Medicine Association, something like that. So I thought, oh, San Antonio Medicine Association.com. That's a brand name. Or if you want to make it short, it's going to be like SMA, right? San Antonio Medicine Association.com. But what happened, the website was SMA, SATX.com. Like, nobody can remember that. Hey, what's your domain? SMA, no remember that, okay? Keep it very easy to remember. Don't make it too complicated, like using hyphens and some crazy 8 numbers. Like, you know, people type the word great with like GR number 8. Don't do that, okay? If you want to make it like unique, like Twitter, oh, that's cool. That's something like you can remember. All right. When it comes to web hosting, I want to make this clear that you can buy the domain name from one company, let's say GoDaddy or SiteGround, and you can buy the web hosting through them as well. And that's what most people do, okay? Or you can buy the domain name, let's say from Namecheap, but the web hosting from SiteGround, 2 separate places, okay? So what's the benefit? Well, the benefit is, I mean, again, this is not a must, this is optional, this is up to you, there's nothing wrong with that. The benefit is, if you have in 2 separate places, the domain is with one provider, the hosting with another. God forbid something happens to GoDaddy, and that's like, sorry GoDaddy, okay? And if the server is down, at least you have all the content somewhere else. And does that make sense? You have no issues. So you can rewrite that to a different domain until everything is fixed, right? But there's nothing wrong with having everything in one place or having everything separately. That is a choice. It's up to you, okay? So I need you to understand that. So I'm assuming that all of you bought it from one place, right? You got the domain and the hosting from one place, right? Okay. All right.
Well, the greater danger is that GoDaddy gets sold to a new management company that doesn't give a damn.
Right.
I've had that happen already.
That's funny because Thursday I give a class to probably I don't know, 15 students at the NISD by Leon Valley. And we were having a problem with GoDaddy. Nobody could log in, or when they logged in, they couldn't click nothing. And I forget this. I basically told them to go to SiteGround. It was very fast, less than 3 minutes, everything was set up. Okay, so any question about web hosting? We understand? We understood? 100%? Sure? Sure? Okay. Alright, so different types of web hosting. This is very important too. Because if you're a beginner, if you're a startup, you're just starting right now, there's no point for you to pay tons of money every month. That's not smart spending. Okay? Because anytime you spend, you always think about what? Return on investment, right? So if you never get any money, why would you spend all this crazy amount of money, right? But you need to understand what they are. So the most popular one right now is the shared hosting. What does the shared hosting mean to you when you hear that?
2 people.
More people.
More people sharing one server. That's why it's very cheap, right? So that's the advantage. It's very affordable. The disadvantage, not in most cases, in few cases, let's say my website get tons of traffic, or let's say I got a malware, there's a chance that all your websites might have you are in risk. Does that make sense? But it doesn't happen a lot. Number 2, dedicated means just for your own. So the specific server just for you and nobody else, which is highly secure and nobody can share it. It's very fast. The only time I recommend this or this if you're making enough money to pay off, $300 a month. If you don't, then don't worry about it. In fact, if you have an e-commerce website, like you sell stuff online, like hundreds of products, you can't go with this. You gotta go with something either dedicated or cloud hosting. But for a beginner, you can try that. Once you get enough sales, enough traffic, then upgrade it to the dedicated. Yeah, you can do that. Okay. VPS, virtual private server. Now, because WordPress is so popular, there are some companies that only host WordPress. Like WP Engine, which is they're one of our sponsors. WP Engine, all they host is WordPress. So if you're a business owner and you don't have a WordPress website, you can host with them. Okay? And they're located, WP Engine, they're in Austin. They have another office here downtown at them. But a lot of companies like GoDaddy now have a specific hosting for WordPress, SiteGround for WordPress, Get Flywheel for WordPress. Everyone's doing this because it's become a very popular platform. I think it's like 27% of the internet is on WordPress. That's what I think. Okay? Any questions so far about the web hosting? Are we good? Understood? No? No? Yes? No? All right. So these are some of the popular hosting providers. You all know Rackspace. Percival is another San Antonio-based company. I also like SiteGround because they have an excellent customer support. Okay. Anybody use any one of these? SiteGround, right? HostGator is still good. SiteGround. I'm sorry? iPage and Bluehost and MonsterHost and HostGator all the same. DreamHost all the same.
Yeah.
And yes.
I've got Mojo Marketplace, but I can't.
Mojo Marketplace, it's a theme, it's not a hosting.
Okay.
So it comes with some of the hosting providers. So it comes with iPage, it comes with HostGator. Yeah.
Okay, I need to talk to you about that.
Okay, cool.
HostGator is very WordPress friendly.
Yeah, HostGator very WordPress friendly because a lot of the technicians know WordPress, right? SiteGround, you can get a domain for free for first year, and for the hosting, I think like $47 for the first year. Per year. The most affordable one. Okay, yes.
If you Google coupons, you can get real cheap postcards.
Oh, absolutely. A great tip. So what you do, if you need a coupon, all you have to do, HostGator coupon 2015, and you can see the coupons and use that. Okay, you get a huge discount. Excellent, excellent tip. Come in, come here. Okay.
I pay $10.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I thought we could only have like 10 people. I miscalculated.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
Oh, there's actually chair you can get from the other room, please.
There's no more chairs.
Oh, there. There's only 4 people there. Yeah, there's only 4. I think there's more. Just tell them to get up. Okay. Tell them to join us here. All right. Any question about the hosting? Okay. So for those that bought the domain and got the hosting, did you install WordPress? Who did and who didn't?
Through Mojo Marketplace.
Okay. Who didn't do it? Because I can show you here, so we can show everybody how to do it. You didn't do it. You didn't do it? Okay, so we can show you how to do it here. What hosting you have?
Me?
I'm sorry, no. What's your name?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what hosting did you go with?
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy. Okay, what about you? Which hosting you went to? No hosting at all?
No, I haven't done it yet.
Okay, but do you want to have a hosting?
Well, now you give me a lot of choices. I was just going to go with GoDaddy since it's the one that I'm familiar with.
Oh, you're familiar with GoDaddy, okay. All right, no problem. Then I can show you how to go to GoDaddy and get the domain name and get the hosting through them, right? Yes?
The reason why I don't like to use GoDaddy is because they make a bang you to death with everything. Emails, other little products.
And not just that, on Thursday I had issues. So when people signing up, they couldn't sign up with the hosting.
Yes.
So if you have that problem today, I'm going to ask you to go with this.
Yes.
And with this one, you can get a domain for free. You want to get a domain free? I'm going to make money off of you. I'm going to give you my affiliate link. Okay? I'll be honest with you. So you're like $50 when you buy it. Okay? So I'm going to show you this link right here. I'm going to show everybody how easy it is to set up with SiteGround. Very easy. Okay? So y'all excited for that? To show you step by step?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So this is my affiliate link. If you don't want them to pay me, that's fine. You can just go to SiteGround.com. But I would appreciate it for those who wants to sign up. .com/go/Yusuf. So what happened when you sign up, SiteGround gives me like $50. In fact, you all that sign up with the hosting, sign up with an affiliate. You know why? You can blog about how did I set up my website? I went to GoDaddy and whatnot. When people read it, they click on it and they pay for it, you get paid. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? I'm just being honest with you. Okay, so you can use that link to sign up with and the cool thing about them, you can get the domain for free for this year. So you're gonna save money, and of course 47, and that's it, and we're good.
And I will add that SiteGround is probably twice as fast as GoDaddy.
See?
Once the site is
Yes.
up. So for the same money, $50 a year.
When I have problem with GoDaddy and then jump to SiteGround.
Seriously, it's much faster.
I love SiteGround.
You do, right? See, we have the SiteGround lovers here. Okay. Hey, SiteGround, give us some shout out, okay?
But usually the problem is that if you hear something advertised on the radio or TV,
Right.
you don't want to go there because a million other people just went.
Yeah, it's gonna
For the
crash
next
the
month or
site.
two, it's going to be like that. So you might as well go do something else.
Right, you're gonna crash the site. All right, cool. Any question? We good, right? So we definitely need a hosting and domain name. Like I mentioned in the beginning, there's a five ways of installing WordPress. This is the most simplest way, done on the hosting itself in one click. Okay? In fact, what is his name? Edward Alonso. He did a class, I think last week, right? He showed the traditional way of installing. And he enjoyed it, right? So that wasn't for business people. They're gonna lose their hair. Okay. All right. This is a very common question. People always ask me, what's the difference between a WordPress.com and WordPress.org?
One is free and the other one you
It's the
pay.
same company. Okay? The WordPress.com is completely free. Just like a Blogger. Anybody heard of Blogger? LiveJournal, Tumblr, right? So it's a completely free. Only recently they added a feature where you can have your domain as a site. Like before, if you sign up with the WordPress.com, you will say yusuf.wordpress.com. You will always say that because you're using the free service, right? That means you don't have a domain. You're just using their platform. So what people used to do, they used to go to GoDaddy, buy a domain name, and do a forward to the yusuf.wordpress.com, right? But now, recently, what WordPress.com did, because they noticed a lot of people going to Weebly and Wix, okay, and all those websites, so-called free, but they're not free. But this is 100% free. All you have to do is just buy the domain, and that's it. Everything is free. The difference between this and the self-hosted, because what we're talking about today, we're talking about self-hosted. This one is within the WordPress platform, within their own system. They do their own backup. It's highly secure and everything. But the problem is, I do not recommend this for business. The reason I don't recommend for business, for two. One, you don't have full ownership. You do not have full ownership. If somebody complains about your site, and I don't know, they send some legal paper or lie against you, they can take you out. They can completely shut it down. Does that make sense? Here's the tip for you. Anything in the internet, if you have a Gmail account, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you don't have full ownership. They own you, not you. Okay? But when you buy the domain, you're paying for the domain name, right? When you pay for the hosting, that's yours. You're paying to renting it. Does that make sense? And with the self-hosted, you have the full ownership. So if I want to move from SiteGround, let's say, to Rackspace, I can do that. I don't need the permission because I own it, right? And I can do whatever I want. I can move the content here. I can change it. I can do anything I want. With the free version, you cannot do full customization. You cannot bring a developer to redesign everything. You can't. You cannot add a plugin. If you want to add a membership plugin, if you want to add a forum plugin, if you want to add an SEO plugin, you can do that with the free one. You cannot even buy a premium template to install it here. But it's free. So, but if you want to teach your kids, sign them up with this. Because your kid needs to blog, right? Yes.
One of the jokes with that kind of marketing about, if it's free to you, you're probably the product.
Right? Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. And there's so many people that come to my class, they log into this one, they don't understand. No, this is not the one we're using. And this is not the one we're using either. So some people are still confused. They think, oh, I don't use WordPress.com, I use WordPress.org. WordPress.org is not a service. It's not a hosting service. They are a forum. It's a forum, all the theme that people build, the developer build, all the plugins, it's right there. It's a community website. So what WordPress.org does, they have an affiliate with Bluehost. They serve as an affiliate with Bluehost and I think Lunch Squid, right? And when you go there, they say, hey, click this Bluehost, and every time you sign up through them, they get paid like $60 for every sign up. Does that make sense? But they themselves don't have a hosting provider. Do you see what I'm saying? So that is the difference between the WordPress.com and WordPress.org. So the .com is completely free. If encourage your kids to make their own blog and through this one. But when it comes to business, I recommend what we call self-hosted. So Oliver, right now you are building a self-hosted WordPress website. That is the proper terminology. Not .com, not .org. Because the .org is nothing but a community of developers, a forum for you to go ask questions, a place where you can download those themes and download those plugins. That's what it's for. Does that make sense? Okay? Because you're going to get asked all this question every time. What's the difference? What's the difference? Well, just forget this, okay? And forget this. And just go to your hosting provider, go to your domain provider, and install WordPress application on your site. Does that make sense? Any question? We good? Yes.
This may be too technical for right now, but I want to throw it out there to get started. On that deal where you purchase your domain, independent of your hosting, so they're split. You're not going to one provider for all.
Right.
You're not doing one-stop shopping. Okay, when you do that, you do the CNAME record to point to the other site. Right. And then the DNS, CNAME, canonical name. Okay. Can the site you're going to reject you? In other words, if the CNAME record resolves, the browser goes over there and it says, not here, not him.
I don't know.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Never heard of it, right?
Yeah. I've never heard of that. As long as
the partial answer is, the other side of it, is Google has something called Sender Policy Framework, right? Where you have to be authorized to be coming here. Okay. So there's an exchange of tokens, but that happens when you set up the CNAME record. We talk about that later.
Yeah, because I don't want anyone to get confused. So let's move on. Okay, so.
I just want to throw that out there so soaks in for a while.
Sure.
I'd like to, if you're going to talk about that as fast, I'd like to catch it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so now we know the difference between the .com and the .org, right? I'm going to show how both of them look different. Now, when it comes to type of WordPress themes or WordPress template, so by default, when you install WordPress, right, from the backend of WordPress, dashboard, all the themes, most of the themes and all the plugins are actually, free, right? Completely free. So the difference is, when you install WordPress, the first one by default will be what? Theme 2015. By default, it's called Theme 2015. And there's also a paid version of template. We call it theme right now, okay? So there's a free version and there's a paid version. So what's the difference? With the free version, of course, it's completely free. You don't pay nothing. But that's the advantage. The disadvantage is, if you try to contact the developer who built a free theme, good luck to get a response because it's free. They probably get like tons of questions. So what happens? You go to the WordPress.org, go to the forum, and see if there's any answer for your questions. With the paid version, if you send them a ticket within 24 hours, they will get back with you. Right? Every time WordPress does their update, the company with the premium service, they're going to update right away. Does that make sense? The free version, there's a chance they can probably take forever to update. So those are the difference. Now, for beginners, I recommend stick with the free for now, because I don't want you to waste your time, waste your money just going over all the cosmetic of the design and the look of the design of the site. Just focus on knowing the basic of the WordPress, right? Make a basic website. Make sure that your visitor, when they come to your website, it is easy for them to navigate. They have a good experience. They are finding what they're looking for, right? Push some traffic, make some money. Then you can probably look for a nice looking, presentable premium theme. Because the premium theme, they look very nice. They have a good support. They come with a well-documented guide, like step-by-step process, how to install. Some of them come with videos. Does that make sense? And they have an excellent support. But as a beginner, you don't want to spend too much time with the premium because whatever you thought is going to work for you, it might not work for you. And you're going to end up buying several of them and that's going to work out, right? Focus on the basics, master the basic first, then you can decide on getting something more robust. Does that make sense? So those are the different. And the premium themes are done by these. There are many companies out there. The one that I use the most is the Studio Press. There's the Elegant Theme, Woo Theme, Theme Forest. Theme Forest, probably they have like 20,000 premium, templates. And all these templates are built by developers and they're selling it in Theme Forest. And I'm going to show you some examples how they look like, okay? All right, remind me to share some of these examples and remind me to show you the .com of WordPress and the .org. Any further questions?
You say themes and templates, are they the same?
In WordPress, we call it theme, but they are templates. We don't use the word template, just call it theme.
Yeah.
If somebody say, what theme do you have? That's what we mean by the actual frame, of the actual design, everything in one place, okay? So there you go. Any question about the free themes and the paid theme? We call it premium themes, understood? Okay. we also need, for every website, we need some type of lead capture. This is very important. Because if somebody comes to your website and you, let's say within 5-6 months you are getting like maybe 50 hits a day or even 100 hits a day, 100 visitors every day on your website, would you not want to get those leads? Right? I mean, customer visiting your site, you want to just kind of let them go? You're going to be crazy going to let them go, right? So you have to have some sort of lead capture. So these services, what they do, you have to give some type of enticing offer, right? So when they see the offer, they're going to put their name and email, and they will get into your list. So you're building a list of subscribers, right? And what happens if you are going to send them a blog every month, you will see out of the 500 how many opening, how many reading it, how many, you know. So that's why you need these. How many of you use one of these? What do you use?
MailChimp.
MailChimp?
Constant contact.
Constant contact? Constant contact, MailChimp. Anything else? So, Aweber, iContact, GetResponse, Constant Contact, Vertical Response, MailChimp, they're very affordable, like $10-15 a month for 500 subscribers. Okay? The more subscribers you have, the money goes up. Now, with MailChimp, you can get a free version up to 500 subscribers. So I recommend for those that tight on a budget or don't want to spend right now, try with MailChimp. And we're going to show you, if you have time today, we'll show you how to set it up. Okay, and how to add on your site. Yes?
Can you tell us more specifically what it does?
Yes, it's a list builder. It grabs subscribers. It's a system in the back end. So what happens when you have a list of subscribers, you can send them emails.
That's the thing. So you can send out.
You can blast an email. Instead of sending one by one, if you have like 500 subscribers, one click goes to all of them. And it will show you how many opens the email, how many reads it, and how many minutes they're reading it.
Well, another point to augment that, you want to use these services because a lot of times your ISP or your internet provider will think you're spamming people if you send out 500 emails.
Yes.
These guys have got a different setup where they go past all that.
Yes, they pass all those regulations. They have permission. They have all this, technical stuff, right? So that's when you need to use them because it will benefit you anyway because you need to build a list.
So there's a place on your website for people to enter their email address.
We can show you how to set it up. Because all of them will give you an option to put the code on the site. I'm going to show you some examples of how other people did it. But you definitely need this. You are not going to be a smart person if you don't have any type of lead capture. Because somebody's coming to your site. I mean, you gotta grab them, right? And the way to grab them, don't tell me I'm going to put join my newsletter. Join my newsletter, that's 90s. Okay? Nobody follow that stuff. You need to offer something different, like, get my training videos, get this cheat sheet, get this, something like enticing. If I'm a yoga, trainer, maybe I'll share something like, get this 10-step for daily activity, make you superwoman. I don't know. Put your name in an email. I want to be superwoman. I'm going to put my information, and I get that information. But the information has to be good. That's some crappy stuff, right? Then, it's called email marketing. Then, once you get those subscribers, then you nurture them. What I mean by that, you don't sell. You give them content, you give them reminders, you give them tips, you give them cool stuff, educational stuff, constantly. Maybe 80% are educational content, then 10-20% is either survey or selling your offer. Because through email marketing, you can take them back to your social media sites. Does that make sense? If your website is down, what are you going to do? Send them an email. Hey, folks, sorry, your website is down. In one click. Okay? Any questions so far? We good? All right. We also need measuring tools. So you must have Google Analytics configured on your website and Webmaster Tool, which is called Google Search Console right now. This one here will tell you how many visits you are getting, where you're getting from which browser, from which device, from which city, from which country, from which zip code. Okay? How many minutes they're spending, what are they tapping to find you, how many minutes they're leaving. All that is right here. And it's free. Okay? This one will tell you when the Google crawler comes to your site, if there are any errors, it will let you know. If you want to index your website for SEO, it will let you know. If you get a malware, if you get some sort of hacking, they will let you know. If you violate their standard in on-site SEO technique, they'll let you know as well. In fact, when you optimize your pages, you have to go here and do a submission. This is where you do the sitemap submission. This is where you do the index submission for the crawler to come back and read your site. Does that make sense? So both are must. You can't tell me no. You gotta put those two. I know Bing has their own. If you want to try, you can also use Bing Webmaster too. You can do that too. But for these, at least you need to have it. Okay? Anybody use Google Analytics?
And how do you sign up for it?
We'll show you how. We're going to do a lot of hands-on after this. Yes. All right. Plugins is a piece of software that these awesome developers built it for lazy people like us, right? So if you need like a forum plugin, membership plugin, any plugin, it does extra features. So that's what the plugins are. I'm going to show you how to install it. Any questions so far? Are we good? All right. How are we doing on time, Betty?
3 more minutes.
3 more minutes? Okay. So there are more than, I don't know, 30,000 plugins, maybe 26,000 plugins out there.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to show you which one to install, just the basic. This is the most important one. I'm going to show you how to install it and how to configure them. Okay? We have an analytics plugin, we have a sharing plugin, SEO plugin, security plugin, backup plugin, and a contact form 7. And I think I forgot one. It's called Tiny MCE. I forgot that one. Tiny MCE Advanced. And there you go. These are the resources. If you want to learn more, you can go to WordPress.tv. These are the videos that were recorded in the WordCamp, which is another conference that is run by the WordPress Foundation. They're like nationwide. If you go to wordcamp.org, you will see in every city where the event is taking place. We did it in San Antonio for the first time this year, in January. We can do it again next year. It's an event where it's for beginners, advanced, intermediate, and entrepreneurs. All these web agencies and expert and consultant, they come and give classes for like 3 to 4 classes every hour, and you just pick which one you want to go to. And the cool thing is, you're not going to spend more than $20. That's one of the rules of the WordPress Foundation, and they provide you food. So next year, in January 2016, we're going to do the second WordCamp, because we attended 2 of them in Austin, but they're nationwide and international. So if you go to wordcamp.org, you can see in which city it's happening right now. It's an awesome event from like 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 p.m., nothing but tons of value. And you can connect with other companies, like hosting companies and different experts. So I recommend you attend it. And we're going to have it next year in January. We're not sure if it's 16 or maybe at the end of the month of next year. So I recommend that you check it out. Then, of course, WP Beginner. This is owned by Saeed. This guy is so amazing. If you don't like technical stuff, if the coding gives you a headache, this guy is the one that simplifies a lot of things about WordPress.
He is so good.
He's so good. And he gives you images, step-by-step, everything. He updates everything. He talks about the latest and the greatest. But the way he writes it is so simple for anybody to understand. So I highly recommend that you bookmark wpbeginner.com. And he even has a video. So if you sign up for free, he'll give you like 10, 12 videos to show you how to use WordPress.
Yes.
At no cost. Okay? If you want to join, of course, some of you were already part of the San Antonio WordPress meetup.
Is it good meetup, that one?
Yeah, that's the WordPress meetup, yeah. Okay? Then Corey Ashton, if you want to follow her, she produces 4 videos every month on WordPress. So that's her YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/webtegrity. She does an amazing work, and she runs, her and her family have been running a web agency for like, since Google, I think, when Google came out, right? So she owns a web agency company, and she does a lot of training as well. So please check out that channel and save it and watch those stuff. Okay? All right. Are we good on time?
Yes, stop. No.
10-minute break.
5 minutes.
No, 10-minute break. Okay? 10-minute break, we'll come back.
10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. All right, folks. We're going to have a 10-minute break, and we'll come back. So thank you for waiting. We'll see you soon.